1, 2, 3, 4.
Screen time, screen time, screen time, screen time.
It's my screen time too.
Screen time, screen time.
Hello, and welcome to It's My Screen Time Too, the podcast where we review the programming the other critics ignore. Stuff made for kids. Find out what to watch for family movie night, what to avoid altogether, and what you'll want to watch alone, voluntarily. I'm Katie.
And I'm Deborah.
And I have two kids who are 9 and 6.
And I have 3 kids who are 15, 12, and 12. And today we are reviewing Win or Lose on Disney+. We're reviewing it because just when we thought we might be outgrowing kids programming, this one sucked us back in. My kids actually recommended it to me. And Pixar is always, a new Pixar show or movie is always an event. So Win or Lose is an animated series from Pixar on Disney+, and it premiered on February 19th, 2025. 8 episodes came out weekly in groups of 2 until March 12th. The show was rated TV PG, and the episodes are each around 20 minutes long. And here's a brief summary according to IMDb. Win or Lose follows a middle school softball team in the week leading up to their championship game, and each episode is told from the perspective of a different character. We watched the first 2 episodes for our review, but I actually finished the series.
Oh,
so I
wow.
will try not to spoil anything.
No, I can't wait to hear what you think. So I will just lead into our first question, which was, did you like it?
I did like it. When I heard it was about a softball team, I was like, I don't love a sports show, but it's not really, that's not the focus. The focus is not even like the team. It's just like the unique thing about it is like they're all experiencing this championship game, but everybody has like this different issue that they're grappling with outside of the sport. And so it's kind of like when you go and watch a team and like they have a bad game or something, this is kind of a window into like what might be happening. And not just sports, like anything really. Everybody's always got an inner monologue going about something that might not be related to what their main event of the day is. So some kids are dealing with some like emotional problems. Some kids are dealing with family stuff. Some kids are dealing with like medical issues, that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's almost as if the softball game is just the framing device to get these 8 different characters together in one place, and it could be almost anything. Well, I did not go on to finish the series. I don't know if that indicates that I didn't like it, and I'm wondering if my primary problem with it, because my primary problem with it was that second episode, and I don't know if you remember what order they came in, but to me, it felt of a piece with Pixar going overboard on the, our themes are so mature, this is a kids show that's not really for kids. Because that second episode, spoiler alert, was not about a kid on the team at all. It was about an adult dealing with like adult stuff. And I know that you're coming from a very different place. Like your kids are a very different age, so they can relate to a lot of that. But I'm coming from, my kids are both still under 10. And that episode there was nothing there for them.
Was it the coach?
The umpire.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so there's also an episode about the coach who's like going through I think he's gone through a divorce. And so he has like shared custody, and you just see like what a sad bachelor lifestyle he's living. Yeah, and the umpire is like, he's a teacher, he's an umpire, but he also like got dumped.
Yeah, it was some really heavy stuff for kids, not a laugh a minute.
Well, that's what I said when the whole thing was over. I was like, Pixar, can't you just do like a funny show?
Yeah.
What's the Minions production company?
Despicable Me? Oh, an Illumination.
An Illumination, yeah. That's like, I've said this before on the podcast, that's my favorite production company out of all the animated cartoon movies for kids because it's just light and silly. And this was heavy.
Yeah, I feel like Pixar made that beautiful montage intro to the movie Up, and everyone responded so positively to it. Like, look at this beautiful story that could be told. It was so heartfelt in such a small period of time. And it was to start off a kids movie, like how wonderful and innovative. And they're like, well, I guess this is all we do now. And I try. I try with every single one of their movies and their new properties. You know I do. And definitely varying degrees of success.
Yeah, that said, my kids really loved this, and it sparked a lot of conversation afterwards, like in between the shows, because like we would wait for them to come out because we started watching like halfway through the release. And then after it was all over, we talked about it, or they talked about it. I listened. So there was a lot for 12-year-olds to get out of this show. And they honestly don't watch a lot of shows anymore. They're more into the video games. So this was a good one.
Yeah, and it could just be one of the, I guess, rare examples lately of places where our kids' age divides are really stark in the things that they're interested in watching.
Yeah.
So we kind of jumped around there, and I feel like we started with, why is this for grown-ups? So is there a way in which this is perhaps not for grown-ups?
I think this is meant to be like an all ages thing, right?
I just don't think there was enough of that light touch. And the first episode in particular that was about like the coach's daughter, and that had a lot of similarity to the stuff we saw in Inside Out 2 over the summer, which I think we both largely liked as two people who can relate personally to anxiety.
Yeah.
But again, it didn't have really much of that light touch.
Yeah. There was also something that I didn't care for, which was there was a trans character storyline that I guess got cut.
I had read those headlines, but since I only watched those first 2 episodes, it wasn't a glaring thing to me.
Yeah, and I didn't even know about it, but like we watched an episode and I was like, is this character trans? And then we realized that yes, that character was supposed to be trans. So like if you're a little more tuned in, you can catch it, but it's not explicitly about this kid's like gender transition or gender figuring out their identity.
It really sucks to have all of the things we consume just so thoroughly embroiled in current culture wars.
I know. Like the Snow White movie.
Did you see it?
No, but why can't that just be a fun movie?
Or why can't it just be a bad movie?
Right.
Why does it have to be bad for these particular sets of reasons?
Yeah.
All right, shall we get into the weeds a little bit?
Sure.
So were there any cast or character standouts for you? You can feel free to bring someone in from later episodes if I might not know them so well from the first 2.
Okay, so I'm not sure what the word is. So it's not really the foil to the umpire, but like the janitor.
Oh, yeah.
Was probably my favorite.
He was a light touch. He was good.
Yeah, see, I could watch a whole, 8 or 10 episode series of his experience as a janitor at an elementary school. That would be fun.
Yeah, just getting into everybody's business.
So I liked him. I also liked the mom, the single mom, who's got the very too mature for her own good daughter, and then the little baby that she totes around everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
And you didn't watch this one, but she gets her own episode too. So I guess a lot of the episodes are about adults.
Huh, interesting.
Yeah.
Again, Pixar, I question it. But also, maybe my kids are just too young and it will make more sense to me in 3 years.
How about you? Did you find any characters especially endearing?
I mean, the first episode about the coach's kid being about anxiety, and then her anxiety was personified as this like little blob that talks to her and grows throughout the episode.
And it's kind of gross. Like, is it like a sweat ball?
Yeah. It's like a blob of flop sweat that eventually just like totally overcomes her. And I don't, as someone who has experienced a lot of anxiety in my life, I really liked that touch. How about the writing? We've kind of danced around it. Tell me your thoughts on the writing.
I thought it was I thought it was a good concept for a show. And it reminded me of Lost a little bit, in that you see like what's happening from each character's perspective, which I don't know that I've seen like a kids show do that in recent memory. And so you see the same scene over and over again, but from a totally different perspective. And so it's sort of a fun puzzle to put together in your head. And I thought that was made to look very simple, but I bet it was really difficult in the writer's room to figure out which scene are all these characters going to be in? And how are you going to show it from everybody else's perspective?
And what depressing life event is everyone going to be experiencing leading up to this?
Right.
I mean,
so I'm sure it had to do, I'm sure like the writing process was like a ton of like diagramming and sort of calculations. So that was impressive to me.
Yeah, I don't know if the multiple perspectives framing is as appealing to me as a device. I mean, obviously I really liked Lost, but I want a character to root for. And when you're like splitting my attention in so many different ways, I can often find it hard to really emotionally connect with the story. And Pixar really wants me to emotionally connect.
Oh my gosh. They want you definitely.
What about we talked a little bit about the structure, the multiple perspectives, and how that was all woven together successfully from a structural standpoint, worked out more from an emotional standpoint for you than it did for me. Any other structure thoughts?
Just that this was really great for episodic television. So you can't really just sit down and watch one of these episodes like you can like a Paw Patrol and get the gist of everything. You have to watch all of them, not necessarily in the sequential order. They probably could have gone in different order.
Yeah, and I maybe wouldn't have quite front-loaded the Umpire episode, but if, as you say, as many of the episodes are about the grown-ups, maybe there's no way around that. Side note, I would love to watch a Paw Patrol episode in which it's each individual pup's perspective on a given disaster they're averting, and just kind of like lay bare the underlying tensions between, say, Sky, who is this overachiever and never gets adequate praise, and Rubble, who is just kind of a lazy go along to get along guy, but he's always just extravagantly praised for what he does. I would watch.
Totally. I would like to see like who gets the flop sweat, who gets like the sinking into the floor. Yeah, totally.
I mean, it's definitely Rocky, right?
Yeah.
All right, back to win or lose. Any thoughts on the look of the show?
I liked it. The characters were fun, inventive. Like you mentioned Up, and like the Umpire had a very Up look to him. Real blocky face, square glasses.
Yeah, it's definitely got the Pixar aesthetic going. And I was interested, as I read about this show and how they were touting it as Pixar's first series, I thought, well, didn't we review that Monsters, Inc. show a while back? And so then I looked into that, but I guess technically, while it was a spin-off of a Pixar property, Monsters at Work was actually produced by Disney Animation. So this is the first one that Pixar itself is taking credit for.
I mean, they have their like shtick, which is really nailed by Inside Out and Inside Out 2, which is like the inner turmoil, mental health, whatever. I don't know that I want another series by Pixar.
Yeah. It was really
Sorry,
heavy.
Pixar.
Like, can we just have some fun?
Or like make it, I mean, why not make it like Adult Swim? You know, because there are all those like Cartoon Network shows that are not for kids. I mean, at this point, if I see Pixar, I know like on a movie poster or an ad or whatever, like I know I'm in for some heavy stuff.
Yeah.
What channel would that be on? Would it be like
the adult version of the show?
Yeah.
Which is it Max that has the like Harley Quinn series?
I don't know. I just think like Disney Network or Disney streaming service is for kids, but that's not really true.
Yeah, and now that they have the Hulu tile there, even like your landing page when you go to the app is not just strictly for kids.
Yeah. So we're kind of getting into, is this good for kids or not? I mean, we had totally opposite experiences. Like, this was wonderful for my kids. It sparked a lot of conversation. We had a good time watching it. So I guess I would say this is good for, you know, older elementary, middle school age kids, just based on my experience.
Yeah, and I just had a conversation with a parent of a 13-year-old who said that they really enjoyed watching it together.
Yeah, so it's not quite a... I mean, you can't rate it PG-13 because it doesn't have like any objectionable...
Yeah, it's just a question of it being dull. Like I full disclosure, did not watch this with either of my kids, and it's because I could not get either of them to watch it after seeing the preview. Like they just didn't have any interest. So I watched it by myself.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, so I guess I would say not great for little kids, but definitely good for, I don't know, 5th grade and up.
And it's a way, like a bridge to having maybe some more of those like heavier, difficult conversations in a way that feels organic and not like, well, honey, let's sit down and talk about the pressing issue of bullying.
Right. Right.
All right. Should we do some evergreen questions?
Sure.
You talked a little bit about how it reminded you of Lost. Did Win or Lose make you think of any other TV show or movie made for grown-ups?
Well, at first I was thinking League of Their Own or Field of Dreams because it's like a bat and ball movie. Then I was thinking more Moneyball.
Oh.
Remember that? Because
Yes.
that's not, I mean, it's like about baseball, but it's really not about baseball.
Right, right.
And this was like softball show, not really about softball.
That is very much what they always said about Friday Night Lights. It's a football show, but it's not really about football.
Oh.
Did you watch that one?
I loved Friday Night Lights. Is that what you compared it to?
Well, the second episode, man, it just stuck in my craw so much. But the thing that I compared that episode to was the show English Teacher. Have you been watching that at all on Hulu?
I haven't seen that.
It's very funny, but it is also about it's about a high school English teacher who just, his reaction to everything is extremely outsized. The show is very funny.
Okay.
I highly recommend it for grown-ups. But this episode about the sad sack umpire teacher made me think of it for sure.
Okay.
Were you able to cast the gritty HBO reboot?
I would cast Keenan Thompson in that umpire role. I think he'd be good.
I can see that.
I would cast Natasha Rothwell. She's another one of my favorites, and I've been watching White Lotus, so I would cast her as that mom who's got a lot going on. And then I would cast John Cho as the coach.
We
And-
always have to cast John Cho.
Yeah, I would cast Jeff Hiller from Somebody Somewhere as the janitor.
Oh,
Wouldn't he be good?
you would have fun with that.
Yeah.
Although he was also giving off some Kenneth the Page vibes. So maybe,
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Gosh, what is that actor's name?
I don't know.
Mm,
But everybody knows Kenneth the Page.
yes.
How about you? Did you have any good gritty HBO reboot casting?
Well, besides Kenneth the Page, I thought that Nick Offerman would make a good gruff coach that doesn't know how to relate to his daughter.
Yeah.
Would you ever watch this alone voluntarily? I think I know the answer.
No. Would you?
I mean, I did, but I would not. I have no plans to finish it. As you know, I don't like to feel my feelings. So maybe when my kids are older and I want to start having more of these tough conversations with them, I'll revisit it. But for now, no thank you.
Fair.
Ratings?
4.
I technically proficient, not for me. 2.75?
That's fine.
See it or skip it.
If you have kids who are over the age of 10, definitely see it. Give it a try.
Yeah. Oh, and I think if you have kids under 10, skip it. But I forgot to mention the movie or show for grown-ups that it did really make me think of.
What's that?
So the other night we were watching this Stop Diabetic Hate commercial, and it was like this man, and he was getting like all sorts of outside just hateful comments were rolling over him, and they're getting stuck to him in the form of pieces of paper, like just throwaway comments people would make about diabetes. And like, you know, every time he picked up something to eat, people would be like, are you sure you shouldn't be eating that? Or like he would be scrolling through Instagram and there'd be a picture of a sundae and someone would be like, that's giving me diabetes just looking at it. So like you saw all these things, these papers getting stuck to him throughout the commercial. And then at the end of the commercial, he was like completely covered. I mean, he looked like a snuffleupagus. He was completely covered by these like papers that looked like he was, you know, covered in a coat of fur. He was so burdened by all of this. And as I was watching it, I was like, it's just like that Pixar episode.
Yeah. Oh.
Anyway,
That reminds me of the book How Full Is Your Bucket? Did you ever read that?
I didn't.
Okay. Well, it's about how words can hurt you, basically.
They can. Thanks for reminding us, Pixar. Words can hurt.
Well, thank you for listening to our review of Win or Lose. Our review schedule will continue to be a bit irregular as we deal with busy spring schedules, but we appreciate you sticking with us. If you enjoyed our show today, please recommend it to another friend you think would enjoy it too, so that we can have more parents in our community of Parents for Sanity in Screen Time. If you don't want to miss our up-to-the-minute thoughts about screen time, head over to our website, myscreentime2.com, to subscribe to updates and make sure you never miss an episode. Hit subscribe in your favorite podcast player. Tune in next time for more real talk about the movies and TV we watch with our kids because we have to and sometimes because we like to.
Bye.
Bye.
Screen time. Screen time.